I'm here with Laura. I'm here with Laura, and to give you a bit of a backstory, if you are new to the channel, Laura is a PDI in training, which is a trainee driving instructor. It's been a little bit different with Laura as regards to the driver training. You already know or knew quite a lot, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think probably I might have lost touch a little bit, but I think there's lots that I've still taken with me on this journey. So it's not like I'm starting from scratch. Today we are going to be doing a part 2 driving test. It's the instructor driver test. Can you see the number plate on the back of that red car? Yes. LT18EEY.
How far do you have to be the number plate from?
26.5 metres in a part 2.
So it's a part 2 test. Laura's going to be doing that today, and thank you so much for putting this on YouTube. And this is also part of Laura's journey. And do we have a part 2 test date booked?
Yeah.
Do we want to tell people when it is?
No, we don't. That's what we'll say.
It's not far away. So we've done a couple of sessions, and we've done like just a regular driving test, haven't we?
Yeah, which I failed.
Yeah, but not badly.
No, I think the thing is, as we've talked about, the mindset.
What issues have you got with the mindset?
It's just the pressure of getting it. It's the pressure of it. We're
going to put AC on because it's just too hot. Talk to me about the pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody who has a driving test knows there's pressure to get it right. And I think kind of having been through it before is twofold for me. It's the fact that I know how to drive, and I understand how the test works. I understand what I did wrong before and what things I needed to work on, but at the same time I failed before. What did you do wrong before? I went 24 or 25 in a 20-mile-an-hour zone because I didn't notice the change from 30 to 20. Yeah, it's such a shame. This test lasts for about an hour. Yay. At all times, I like you to follow the road ahead, unless I tell you to turn left or turn right, or unless road signs indicate otherwise. If I need you to turn, I will tell you in good time. We're going to be following sat-nav for about 20 minutes, there or thereabouts. If you're not sure where you're going, please ask. And we're going to take in 2 reversing manoeuvres. And I need to ask you some sort of safety questions about your car. Oh, Christ. Okay. Have you been looking at those? No. Okay. If you get 1 wrong on your test, what happens? You get a driver fault. What if you get them all wrong? Is it serious? Yeah. Really important. How many driver faults are you allowed? Is it 5? No, you can get 6 and still pass. Yeah. And eco-safe driving is now part of it. What does eco-safe driving mean? Less fuel consumption. Yes. More environmentally friendly. Should be, but also it's got the word safe in there, hasn't it? Mm. So it's balancing that. Safety, what has priority, eco or safety? Safety, absolutely. So how would you check that your brakes were working before starting a journey? Turn the engine on, make sure they don't feel spongy. If they feel spongy, then they're not working properly. Any more information? No. So I'm going to be harsh, and that will go down as a driver fault. For what reason? Okay. So the answer to that question is they shouldn't feel spongy or slack. Okay, spongy or slack. You should test them as you move away. Okay. And the car shouldn't pull to one side. Tell me how you check that your headlights and tail lights were working properly. Okay, no need to exit. So I would turn them on and then check in reflections of shop windows, house windows, other cars. Okay. Could do, yeah. Could also just walk around the car. You said no need to get out of the car? Today. Oh, okay. The nerves kick in. Yeah, they do. Okay. This is the problem. The nerves are going to kick in. Where would you get the information for the recommended tyre pressures for your car, and how would you check them? Either in the user manual or on the inside of the car door. I think it's passenger or driver, depending on the car, depending on the vehicle. Okay. And you would check them using a tyre pressure machine. Okay. Anything else? Any more information? No. Okay. So the answer to that question would be, as you've said, yes. How many tyres have you got? 4. 5. Could do. Some cars have run flats, but quite often you've got 5. Mm-hmm. Yes. What happens when you heat air? It expands. So you have to check them when they're cold. Check them when they're cold. And what should you not forget to refit? The dust caps.
Okay, it's really important if you are a PDI in training
to add all
that you get all the information. It's okay if you're a learner driver, you could probably get away with it as long as you're giving the sort of gist of what's going on. And actually, you guys have got driver faults to burn, but PDIs don't. As always, like, comment and subscribe, because it really does boost the channel, push the video out to a wider audience, and yeah, if you like it, hit that like button. If you are interested in doing a mock test on the channel, then I'll put my Instagram down here. You can send me a DM, follow me, send me a DM, and we can talk about it. So when we see you next, we're going to be starting the test. So whenever you are ready, drive on.
And we're just about to start the test, and then this happens.
Sorry?
Drive too fast?
Who? You?
No, you were fine.
That is my window there, you know.
I don't understand.
I'm living in the house across the road.
Are you living there? Ah.
I told you make an estimate of my house because I want to sell it.
Oh.
No. We're shooting a YouTube video.
Which you're on now.
It's an intro video, so you can see my bedroom in the night as well. I saw so many American films.
How random is that? Okay, so drive on when you're ready.
It is a good clean start by Laura. She does a full all-round check around the car before moving off. If you are training for a part 2, I want you to pay full attention to this opening few minutes. Laura's drive is incredibly clean. It's almost textbook. Almost.
And then you're just going to take this next road on the left here for me, please.
The basic routines that you are going to be passing on to your students are all demonstrated here. Laura crosses her hands as she takes this turn. I would have preferred to see a good pull and push technique. However, it's not a fault. She initially doesn't check mirrors in the new road, but she does eventually when there's no one behind
us. End of the road, turn left.
And she may well have been aware of that. But her mirrors and signals for junctions are bang on point. She then doesn't rush this junction, leaning forwards to get a better view. And this time the mirrors for New Road come earlier. She then anticipates well on this blind corner, leaning forwards again to get a better view. And then checks mirrors well on approach to a hazard. Her efficient, clean mirror work continues as she drives on.
And then if you could just pull up on the left in a safe place.
And being at risk of sounding like a broken record, finds a safe spot, checking both mirrors and signalling well.
Nice. Drive on when you're ready.
I said this at the start, if you're training for your part 2, these basic skills should be perfected. Laura now has a quick succession of mini roundabouts to deal with, and she manages them without a hitch. She checks both mirrors, signals and positions in the right-hand lane. She does drive over the centre marking, which you're not really supposed to do, but on this particular roundabout it's almost unavoidable. So in this case, it's just not noteworthy. And then a little further up the road, she has a couple more to deal with.
And at the roundabout, follow the road ahead for me, please.
Laura's understanding of space is great. She's keeping a good distance back from the vehicle in front. And then again leans forwards to get a better view. Deals with this roundabout well.
And then at the roundabout, turn left.
So many roundabouts. You know I love a roundabout, Roland.
You do, don't you?
Again, Laura demonstrates her consistency with her mirror work and timing of signal as she approaches this roundabout. Laura is definitely not a massive fan of roundabouts, which we find out about a little bit more later on. Laura is now forced to cross a double solid white line. This is totally fine when passing a parked vehicle or a slow moving vehicle like a cyclist or a vehicle with an amber flashing light.
And then I'd just like you to find somewhere to pull up on the left in a safe place for me, please.
This can be a tricky place to find somewhere to pull up, and unfortunately there's quite a few parked vehicles taking up the spaces. Laura picks a spot that bottlenecks the road. She can legally stop here, but it's just not a good place.
We're going to start the independent drive part. I'd like to follow the sat-nav for about 20 minutes. Okay, if you're not sure where you're going, just please ask.
Yeah, okay.
Whenever you're ready, drive on.
Now, unfortunately for Laura, the traffic starts to build. If she hadn't interfered with anybody, this possibly would have just gone down as a driver fault. But now we're starting to cause a major obstruction. The bus driver then attempts to move off as this traffic passes, doesn't see Laura's signal, then does see Laura's signal and allows her to proceed. But this is too much. We just shouldn't have been there. This is a serious fault for positioning normal stops. Always think about where you're going to bring your car to a stop.
Turn right, then go left on the roundabout and take the second exit.
Laura's about to deal with the tricky Mill Hill Circus roundabout. She's going to be following the road ahead, which is normally not a major issue, but this roundabout has lots of keep clears.
Go left on the roundabout and take the second exit.
She's already made it clear she's not a massive fan of roundabouts.
Roundabout.
Which is confirmed here. She has a clear path, but there's a vehicle in the left-hand lane ahead of us that's pretty much taking up all the space, and she moves directly into the roundabout, stopping on the keep clear. Stopping on a keep clear would most likely just be put down as a driver fault, provided you don't interfere with anybody. But she gets in the way of this police car, so this is a serious fault for response to road markings. This roundabout is just horrible, and I'll put a card up here in the top right hand corner to show you exactly how horrible I think it is. There is a lot of grey area surrounding this roundabout, and the examiner has to take everything into consideration. But the main takeaway from this is pretty simple. If you stop on a keep clear and do not interfere with anybody, this most likely would just be a driver fault. If there is an interference with another car, this escalates. So, always be careful around keep clears.
We have like loads of smaller roundabouts in Herne Bay, and I was happy about that, but they're so complicated, some of them.
Are they?
A lot of them are non-standard.
Okay. As in they're just not built properly. What does that mean, non-standard?
So for example, if you're going straight over, you'd normally stick to the left, but a lot of the left-hand lanes are left only.
Okay.
So you just have to be so aware of the road marking.
Laura makes a very important point. You should always be paying attention to road markings.
And then once you've gone past this section here, if you could just pull up on the left, I think just next to that lamppost.
Okay.
Can you see there's a little section of curb there?
Laura deals with this tricky meeting situation well, but when she goes to move off again, she struggles a bit.
Oh, the lamppost, yeah.
Yeah, can you see that one?
Yeah.
In fact, if you just go slightly beyond it,
okay,
and then just there on that curb, if that's okay.
At the end of the road, turn right.
That'll do. Brilliant. Drive on when you're ready.
Oh, my hip clicked then.
I did hear that.
Okay, so a big truck coming, so I'm going to let him go past. Otherwise. I'm doing the other cars now.
She starts to move off and then realises there's another car coming, so she changes her mind. When trying to move off on a busy road, there's absolutely no issue to let people know that you intend to move off. If you leave your signal on, someone might let you go.
This is a nice road.
In the end, Laura moves off, and in this case, I'm going to put all this down as not noteworthy. I don't think she had an impact on anybody, but if you're in a situation like that, just get your signal on.
After 300 yards, turn left.
Laura's approaching just a simple left turn at a set of traffic lights, but as she goes to turn, she uses her clutch just a little bit too much. Picks up a driver fault for coasting.
Turn left.
She puts the clutch down to change to second gear, but she just doesn't bring it back up again. She attempts to lift it, but it squeezes back down again, and then as she's going halfway around the corner, it does come back up. The speed she was travelling around that corner, she didn't really need the clutch down at all.
I actually forget to breathe sometimes on these.
Do you?
Yeah.
Keep breathing.
Driving test nerves are a very real and serious problem. It's something that we all, unfortunately, have to go through.
The more you do stuff like this, it's just the better it is.
And now the two show me questions on the move.
And just when it's safe to do so, if you could beep your horn for me, please. That'll do. Thank you very much.
Laura has no issue whatsoever with either of these two show me questions.
And then again, when it's safe to do so, if you could put your rear demister on for me, please.
Now I have asked her this question as we're about to move into a 30 zone, but she doesn't notice the speed limit change. And I definitely could take some responsibility for this, as it's clearly a distraction.
That'll do. That's fine.
But if in real life you had to activate one of your ancillary controls and you missed the speed limit change and you got caught, this could be quite a serious problem. It's not a good enough excuse. Laura pushes up to about 35 miles an hour and is saved by this white car that pulls out in front of her. But this is a serious fault for use of speed.
After 800 yards, turn left.
She now has a cyclist up ahead of her and again a double solid white line in the centre of the road. She picks a safe spot to pass, and even though you should give about 1.5 meters when passing a cyclist, when crossing a double solid white line, that's not always possible. We're only a couple of junctions away from doing the emergency stop, so let's jump to that.
Okay, so we're now going to perform the emergency stop exercise. I want you to bring the car to an immediate and abrupt halt under full control. My signal will be stop.
Okay.
I'll be making sure it's nice and safe behind us. Don't stop until I tell you to do so. Okay? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Laura again has no problems here whatsoever, and again this is almost a textbook, as I would teach it, emergency stop exercise.
And stop.
Laura then sticks it in neutral, secures the vehicle.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. When else you do that again? Drive on when you're ready.
And then does full round effective observation before moving off. We're now going to move into the national speed limit section of this test. It's a country lane, but Laura gets moving. I like this.
Actually, do you know what? While I'm doing this as well, I'm realising, I must ask Roland about this situation or what he would do in that situation. That's a good thing about a mock test.
Okay.
Is that the stuff that you encounter that you wouldn't necessarily encounter, that you just need like a little bit of like to bounce the idea off someone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, not a problem. Can't answer any questions right now though.
No, that's fine.
Can you store those till the end?
Absolutely.
Laura, as I said before, picks up speed really nicely, hitting speeds of around 50 to 53 miles an hour throughout this section of road, and on the main positions well and anticipates the bends. She does make one little mistake, which is coming up very soon. She's approaching a chicane, a sharp bend to the left and then to the right, and there is a sign to warn her that it's coming, but she doesn't heed it. And although she controls it, she just approaches this bend a little too fast. It's a little bit of a running theme throughout this test, but Laura keeps missing signs. Laura then uses her gears well, dropping into gear 3 for this downward slope, and then as she approaches the bend, she drops down into gear 2, allowing her to maintain a little bit of speed and increase control. And then as the road opens up, she picks up her speed. Overall, apart from that one little hiccup, it's a good, confident drive, and I'm not surprised as these are the kinds of roads that Laura's probably used to driving on all the time. But, very well done.
So we're going to be coming up to a set of traffic lights. It's technically a roundabout, so I'm going to say at the roundabout, turn left.
Okay.
Sorry, my knee again.
That's fine.
The national speed limit now continues onto a dual carriageway, and again Laura picks up her speed well, travelling between 65 and 67 miles an hour. She doesn't quite hit the 70 mark, but in this case it's just not noteworthy. She then changes lanes nice and early when she sees a slow-moving vehicle up ahead. She then correctly, in this instance, holds the middle lane for a little longer as she's catching another slow-moving vehicle in the left lane. She could possibly have moved in on the left, but I really don't think in this case that it was worth it. She holds her position, and that's just fine. And then as she passes the van, she moves correctly back into the left-hand lane. Her good planning continues. She notices a slip road approaching and again goes to change lanes to the middle lane. But she doesn't notice the speed limit change until she's gone through it. Or she just responds late to it. Either way, she's travelling faster than 50 miles an hour as she goes through these signs. She very quickly realises her mistake and reduces speed. But unfortunately it's too late, and this is a serious fault for use of speed.
Okay, so at the roundabout, we're going to follow the road ahead to the second exit.
Laura could technically pick any one of these 3 lanes to follow the road ahead, but she chooses the left lane normal driving position and manages the roundabout well. Laura doesn't rush and waits for the right opportunity to go. Checks both mirrors and signals to exit. And then again picks up her speed nicely. A little further up the road, we're turning left on the apex corner roundabout.
Did you say at the roundabout turn left?
Yes, at the roundabout left.
And the traffic lights turn on her, but in this instance, again, she's right to proceed. She was too close with vehicles behind. This is not a problem at all. And then shortly she's going to be turning right third exit on the Mill Hill Circus roundabout.
And then at the next roundabout, which is in about 500 yards, we're going to be turning right third exit.
We're back at what I consider to be the impossible roundabout. And this particular right third exit, it's not a spiral and there's not much space. And Laura, although she makes a mistake, she recovers well. She moves nice and early into the right-hand lane, showing good planning. On this roundabout, you have to change lanes at the exact right time.
Sorry, can you remember what exit?
Third exit. That's the second.
And if Laura wanted to, she'd have to start now. But she makes the right choice to go round again.
I have to go round, don't I?
On her second attempt, she gets it bang on right.
Not an easy roundabout, this one, is it?
Horrible.
Sorry.
You're not sorry at all.
Sorry, not sorry. I'm just getting my own back.
That's why you were smiling at me for being passive aggressive on this roundabout, because you knew I'd mess it up. I don't really know.
Laura manages to get into the middle lane, which is the only lane that's possible to get to from this position. And on this roundabout, that's absolutely fine. Laura's timing of signals on this particular roundabout were not bang on, and again, as she exits, it's just a bit late. Overall, I thought Laura did really well. She made a mistake, but she made the right choice. I think she wants another bite at the cherry.
And then if you can again take this next road on the left.
Roland, we're doing that roundabout again.
Today?
At some point.
Okay.
Because that was... what the was that?
I find it very hard to disagree with that.
People need to think about where they stop their car, don't they? Although they are allowed to drop people off. I assume that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
I hope that's what's happening here. Although if she's got a disabled badge, she's allowed to leave her car there.
Oh, crikey.
Which is 100% true. You are, if you're a disabled badge holder, allowed to park on a double yellow line for up to 3 hours, provided you're not causing an obstruction.
I'm assuming she does have a disabled badge.
And loading restrictions don't apply. The busy meeting situations continue for a little while longer, and then she asks a very good question.
On a part 2 test, can the driver say thank you?
Well, I'll answer that at the end. Okay. That's okay.
It is recommended that you should keep both hands on the steering wheel as much as possible. However, it always comes down to lack of control, so if you do remove a hand, for whatever reason, as long as you don't lose control, that's just fine. I do go into this a little bit more at the end.
And then at the end of the road here, turn right for me, please.
On this particular junction, there's an ambulance which is parked just up on the right-hand side, which is creating a little bit of a blockage. This causes a few problems, but overall, again, Laura does well.
Oh, that ambulance is in the perfect place.
What I would say, though, is sometimes we get so focused on our goal that we just forget that the world is not always going to make it easy for us. These obstacles are there to test us, but ultimately if you stay calm, you'll overcome them. Just get it done. And then a little further up the road, Laura gets to do her first reverse manoeuvre.
And then you're going to take the next road on the right, which is entering a car park just beyond this traffic island. Round to the left.
Laura ultimately does well here. She has to do a small correction, which in this case I'm going to put as not noteworthy, although it is possible if you don't get it right first time on a Part 2 that you might pick up a driver fault for that.
We're just going to allow you to find somewhere to do a reverse bay park in any bay you can find, to the left or to the right, finishing off in between the lines.
She again demonstrates good, all-round, effective observation.
Just crack on.
Whenever you're ready.
She doesn't immediately put it into reverse gear, which I would strongly recommend, but there's no one behind us, so in this case it's not a problem. But if a vehicle's coming up behind you and you haven't put it in reverse, you have no reverse lights to give them warning. As I said, she does a small correction. But what I'm really happy to see is she continues her full all-round observation. When you're forced into a correction, it can be very easy to forget. Laura gives a good demonstration here.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. Drive on when you're ready.
Laura has a little pause, and I think sometimes the pressure gets too much.
You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Sure?
You are.
Yeah. Can you breathe?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
Is it just right? Is this how you would be anyway if it wasn't on camera?
No, boom, 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 out.
Okay.
No, I don't think it's camera, I think it's test conditions, and that is what I need to get used to.
You do?
Because that's where I'm...
We're not done yet, though.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
So whenever you're ready, in fact, if you just drive off to the left here, please. That'd be nice to you.
As I'm sure you're well aware, these tests are incredibly stressful.
Okay, the road's going to split into two. I'd like to follow the road ahead for me, please.
Okay. Oh, no stop sign today.
Follow the road ahead.
Oh, there is a stop sign.
Yeah. I was thinking, what?
No stop sign.
There's not much left. Laura stops a little bit short from this stop line. She then moves forwards, stops again, which is a good thing, and then proceeds when it's safe to go. We're only a couple of junctions away from the end of the test, so there's just the parallel park to do, so let's jump to that.
That'll do. Not too close, please. Okay, so we're going to do reverse parallel park.
Okay.
On this vehicle here. I'd like to reverse move out next to it and then reverse the car back in, finishing off reasonably close to and parallel to the curb within the 2 car lengths of space. Do you understand the 2 car lengths of space?
Yes.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay.
With this red car opposite, this is quite a tricky place to do it, but Laura is a very experienced driver and I wouldn't imagine this would be a major problem. And it isn't. She does a really good job here with full effective observation, pauses the car when she needs to, and just gets it done. There is a pedestrian walking up behind us on the pavement. But as a car approaches, Laura pauses and stops the car. Whether she stops the car for the oncoming car or the pedestrian, it doesn't matter because the timing is just right. And throughout this maneuver, she continuously checks that right blind spot. Well done, Laura.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Okay, drive on when you're ready.
We literally move the car just around the corner, so that is the end of the test.
How was that?
It was terrible and wonderful all at the same time.
Terrible and wonderful
Yeah.
all at the same time. Okay, so how do you think you did?
I failed,
Okay.
but I'm okay with that.
Why do you think you failed?
Because I did some stupid things. Like, I don't think I handled the big meeting situation well at all.
Okay.
The one where the bus was coming towards us. I don't think I handled that well. I think there was one potential, I think it was a meeting situation up a hill. Oh, that's what I did. I was driving too fast.
Where were you speeding?
At dual carriageway.
Yeah.
That was the moment I thought, I've done it now.
Yeah, you didn't see the 50
No.
sign, did you? So you think fail?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, look. Huge swathes of that test were really good.
Mm-hmm.
There's loads of really good stuff in what you're doing. A lot of your driving is very clean.
Mm-hmm.
Your mirror work tends to be very clean.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, your signal timings and putting signals on is very good. Your basics are really good. And that's one of the main things I'm looking for. Because a lot of the other things, the stuff that goes wrong, you can then work on and then fix. Unfortunately, yes, it is a fail. I'm going to go through where that's gone wrong for you.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right about the speeding because you've gone through that.
And I'm doing 70.
Yes.
Yeah.
Almost doing 70. You weren't doing 70 really down that road. Would have liked to see you hit 70 actually. I let it go, but I'd like to see you hit 70. 66, 67, 68. Road's open. I think we can hit 70 if we can. It's a good thing to practice as well to go away. Can you maintain 70? You know, it's a bit like I'm in 30, roads open, can I maintain 30? It's just one of those things that's a bit of a skill. And obviously you've got to be careful because you've got to be careful it doesn't fluctuate. I thought your progress drive generally was really good.
Okay, good.
Speeding twice.
Oh, yeah. I knew it. Was it, if I went up to 37 or something, and it was, because it was 40 just before that, wasn't it?
I asked you to find somewhere, this was the beginning of the sat-nav, I said find somewhere to pull up on the left in a safe place. Now, this is the one that I'm saying is not 100% your fault.
Okay.
There's normally loads of bays there which you can pull up on the left, but there weren't many, and you drove past them, and that's fine because you had to. And then you picked a spot where the road just bottlenecked, and there were parked cars on the right-hand side. Now, this is the one where it's like, normally when an examiner asks you to find somewhere to pull up on the left, there's generally spaces, but there just weren't that many spaces immediately. When we drove off down the road, I did count about 2 or 3 on the left-hand side.
You should have kept going.
Now, you stopped there, and it was initially like, okay, we're going to start the sat-nav, we start the sat-nav, but then the traffic built, and we were just in the way.
Yeah.
You had a little issue trying to move off as well. I'll ask you a question. If you're trying to move off from the side of the road, and it's busy, are you allowed to put your signal on?
Yeah.
You don't.
Don't I?
No.
Oh.
And I'm like, and I made a note of that. You're trying to move off, and it was really difficult, and nobody knows.
Do you know what it is? Sorry to interrupt. Do you know what it is? And again, this is one of the things I was going to ask, because I felt like putting my signal on was, I guess, potentially then making other drivers feel like they had to stop to let me out.
But we were in a difficult spot, and we were trying to move off, and I think it was almost in a situation with the bus as well. Like that bus wanted to know, needed to know that you wanted to move off because you're in the way. So if you tell the bus, we actually want to move off, we'll actually clear this road and get out of your way, then would that not have made their decision making so much easier? Because they actually went to go, and then they stopped when they saw your signal and said, oh, go on, off you go, because it means you get out of the way. Yeah?
Okay, noted.
But there was another time where we were trying to move off from the side of the road, and again you were struggling to move off, and you just weren't telling anybody that you needed to. So timing a signal, so if you see a vehicle coming, like flying up, or a motorbike coming, and then you throw your signal on just before, what's the risk there? What could go wrong there?
Well, they could slam on their brakes, couldn't they?
Right, but in a situation where you put it on, like it's safe for me to put it on, I can put it on now, I'm not going to interfere with anyone, but now everybody knows, is that okay?
Yeah, I guess so.
100%.
Yeah.
Just let people know that you intend to move off.
And to be honest with you, in real life, that's something I do without thinking.
The Mill Hill Circus, following the road ahead to the second exit. The impossible roundabout. We did that roundabout twice. You did the right third exit. You realised you were in the wrong lane. You went round again. Absolutely fine. I would have liked your signal to stay on because you're coming round. You also then put your to move because you've never done it before. It's a horrible roundabout. You then put your left signal on a little bit early. You then cancelled it and then reapplied it and then managed to get into that lane. And then I would have loved the exit signal to have come on when you're in position. But you tend to start moving. You've gone past the exit. The signal should come on. There's a slight timing of signals thing. So I've given you 1 for timing sim, but that's driver fault, not serious fault. But the Mill Hill Circus, following the road ahead. Watch the video on the impossible roundabout. Now the problem is, you had one car in the middle, and you're in the left lane, and you've got these 2 massive keep clears. There's only really space for one car, but you've gone into the roundabout and stopped on the keep clear with no shield of traffic on the right-hand side. And then an ambulance has come through and had to go round us. If there had been a shield of traffic, I possibly would have let it go because there was no shield of traffic. You've just moved in. Yeah. Now it's a horrible, horrible roundabout. I personally don't even think it should be on test because it's just a horrible roundabout.
To be honest with you, I thought I'd have enough space.
Did you? Oh, so you judged it and you thought, yeah, your just back end was slightly on there.
I judged it wrong, but I only moved because I thought there'd be enough space for me in the car in front.
Okay.
But lesson learnt. That there is not enough
You will
space.
not have a roundabout like that down in Herne Bay, I don't think.
No.
And if you do, if there is a horrible one down there, I suggest you practice on it loads.
Yeah.
There's a lot of grey area on that. You could do exactly what you did in a different situation and get away with it. That's how stupid that roundabout is. Clutch, coasting, downhill, round a corner. What's that all about?
I don't know what it's doing.
You were turning left, set of traffic lights. We're going downhill. Clutch stays down. I'm just like thinking that clutch should come up. On the country lane, that one where it was national speed limit. Yeah. You did really well until you missed the chicane sign, and then we went into that corner, and my eyes went like.
Oh my god! I don't want to see that in the video.
And you actually said sorry.
Yeah.
And you slowed down.
Because I knew. Yeah. I mean, I knew. I missed it.
It's quite dangerous, isn't it? Speed limits, progress driving, this is part of, like, I get it, right? We need to get going. And generally you balance your progress drive really well. You must be used to the country lanes because coming from where you are, you have them all over the place, don't you? So I really liked it. You were hitting 53, 54 miles an hour. I thought that was really good. I'm very happy to have seen that. I didn't like your approach to that chicane.
No, I didn't either.
You did a correction on the Bay Park. It is possible. I'm going to let it go. It is possible that you could get a drive fault for having to do a correction. Okay. It is possible. I think it's a bit harsh. Because I wouldn't drive a fault or learn to drive. So I'm not going to drive a fault you. So I'm going to leave that one to the side. There was a pedestrian on the parallel park. You stopped because the car was coming past. So that pedestrian was there. I think you may be aware of them.
I was aware.
That's fine. And again, it's not a major issue, but I would have liked to have seen that you knew they were there. But I didn't fault you for it. Can you say thank you on test?
Can you say thank you on test?
You asked that question.
Yeah.
Can you say thank you on test?
Can you?
Did you lose control?
No.
Are you beckoning them?
No. Okay. Cool.
But I tend to want to leave my hands on the wheel as much as possible. So you know the 4-finger salute? Could you do that?
Like that, yeah.
Could do that?
Yeah.
That's probably a better one.
Yeah.
I do it because I'm not driving. Somebody made a comment on one of my videos, like, oh, I failed for doing that, and it was me who was doing it. But I'm not driving. So I can do it. Examiners will do it. We can do it. We got that. Say thank you. Yeah. 4-finger salute. You could do that, or just nod at them. Yes. Yeah. But if you don't lose control of your car, do you not have to take your hand off the steering wheel to change gear?
Change gear. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's not a pass, as we know.
But I think it's an improvement.
It is. It's highlighting a few things. Okay. So for me, the speeding things, it's signs. Again, we're back to signs. you've got to do some work on signs. Like I want you to go out and you're going to be driving for sustained periods of time, just constantly reading signs, specifically speed signs, all signs, to be honest with you, because the chicane one you missed. This has been Laura's part 2 test. This is part of her journey. There's more training needed. There's good stuff in here. A little bit more training is needed, and then she's going to be well on the way to being where she needs to be. It's quite normal to have faults, and it's good to have faults, I think. Stuff that you know that you need to go away and work on. I hope that you have got some value out of this video. If you are a PDI in training doing part 2 and you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. We will have more and more of this sort of content coming soon. And obviously, if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you like more content, and I will see you in the next one, and we'll be seeing more of Laura again very soon. See you in the next one.
Bye.
Get well out.